Can you actually see the difference? This month, I'm giving away a $100 Amazon gift card. Check in the description to see how you can enter. What's up, guys? Under here on my channel, GearedInc, where I get to share what I'm passionate about with you. And on my channel, that's PC tech, games, and gear. And today, I wanted to set out to see, can you really tell the difference between a new generation console and a big, beefy $5,000 gaming computer if you don't really know what to look for? Now, here's the thing. I'm a PC gamer, and PCs do have a lot of advantages over consoles. Your hardware is upgradable. All of your games are scalable with resolution to either make your hardware last longer, because you can go down in things like settings, or you can basically go down in settings if you're a competitive gamer to get more frames a second. Way more integration with secondary apps like Discord, and you have far more free games that you can take advantage on things like Steam. But current generation consoles have come such a long way. I mean, I literally did a video showing that as long as the game supports it, you can actually use a keyboard and a mouse with the PS5, essentially making current generation consoles more like PCs than they've ever been. And I get that you can't get a PS5 at MSRP. I was lucky enough to snag one, a while back, but I mean, even at a couple $100s over cost, it may still be worth it when you're comparing it to a PC. But a big advantage that consoles have over computers is that all of their stuff is on one system, so developers can really refine their games to a level that PC games simply just cannot, because they have to optimize it for so many different platforms and so much different hardware. So while it doesn't make things perfectly equal, it does give consoles a big advantage when it comes to basically playing at higher settings with not as powerful hardware. So I wanted to do a blind test to see if you guys can actually tell the difference when we're talking about high-end 4K HDR Ultra settings with a $5,000 computer versus a $500 PS5. You can see all the testing methodology down in the description below, but again, I basically locked frames at 60 because I want there to be complete equalness when it comes to how you perceive these tests. Now, while I was only able to test a couple of games because those were the ones I had, they were free, I do believe that this is a pretty good testing methodology so you guys can see, is there really any difference when we talk about these two systems? So which one was the PS5 and which one was the $5,000 computer? Well, it was this one. So I could kind of tell which one was which, and it's not obviously because I recorded this. One thing the PS5 does in all of its games, it does different skin and tone mapping, so you get a kind of a different palette of colors when it's actually rendering out the game. Something also is that when you're talking about looking at the characters themselves, the skin tone on the characters look more natural on the computer that obviously has more settings that it can mess with. But something else is that even in the detail in the color and the clothing is far, far higher on the $5,000 computer. But when you're comparing both of those games side by side, I mean, they both look fantastic. It's one of those things where I don't think 99% of people would care or notice all those fine little details, because obviously you're moving things pretty quickly and it looks still fantastic on the PS5. And the next game I want to do is one that just barely came out on the PC, and that is God of War. This is a game that obviously looks fantastic no matter what you play it on, but here's that side by side. All right, can you tell the difference? It's gonna show you which one it is, and here you go. So here's the thing. In God of War, the detail on the characters is really, really close. Again, the noticeable things to me was things like textures on the fur, leather, the skin tone mapping that the game essentially does. But again, these games look super good no matter what you're playing it on. And we're talking again about a $500 machine versus a $5,000 machine. For that cost, is there really any difference you're gonna get more than maybe, higher frames a second, which obviously my computer is capable of pushing? I don't think the vast majority of people honestly care when we're talking about a 4K gaming experience like this. Now, I know a lot of you are gonna say, well, 4K is all well and good, but what if we're talking about competitive gaming? Well, Apex Legends is a game that I decided to do testing side by side, and while I'm far better with a keyboard and mouse, honestly, because I was uncapping frames per second and doing this at 1440p, there wasn't any noticeable difference to me. One thing that I did notice is I was far more accurate with the controller due to the aim assist. And that's another thing to think about is when you're playing with a controller versus playing with a keyboard and mouse, if you're doing crossplay, I mean, controllers can have a very significant advantage in certain situations. I mean, if you don't believe me,
how do I lose? How do I lose that? Oh, did you see the lock on right there?
Yeah, his anger says it all. So here's my big takeaway, guys. It is fun and wonderful to have a $5,000 gaming computer, something that I have sacrificed years to be able to attain that level of gaming by sacrificing a lot of other things. The reality is that the PS5 and the new Xbox are really good values for what they are, especially if you could get them at MSRP. You are giving up some of the features and functionality that PC is going to offer you, but with as expensive as everything is right now, if you can get your hands on, a PS5 when it does one of its drops, it really is a good value for somebody who isn't going to be streaming or video editing and just wants to have a really good gaming experience for a relatively lower cost. So anyway, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If it was helpful in any way, leave me a big thumbs up. If it was terrible, leave me a thumbs down. Remember to get subscribed and hit that bell icon so you know when these videos drop. I entered the giveaway for the $100 Amazon card that's got like a week or so left in it. And then obviously you can check out my PS5 video I did on using a keyboard and mouse if you're curious what that looks like. As always, guys, I'm gonna continue to make content for all of you. I appreciate you, and I'll see every single one of you next time here on GearedInc.